Shannon Usher worked as a neonatal therapist for 13 years. She has 3 young boys and specializes in infant development. Through her Peaceful Infant Services, she brings a variety of tools to the table to help parents with young children. It is great to have Shannon back with us today. Shannon, thank you for your time. And you have sweet little Hap with you today.
I do. A big welcome to him.
Yeah, and Hap has just celebrated 3 months, so he's getting on up there. Oh yeah, we're just so happy to have you here, Hap. Oh, he's precious, precious. Well, we are just a week away from Thanksgiving, and so a lot of families are going to be traveling for Thanksgiving, and I think it's really important. You said, let's talk about getting to our destinations.
Sure.
And we're going to be with grandparents or others.
Yes.
You know, I know from my own situation with my daughter and her husband, you know, they have their little rules and they have their little schedules they like to keep.
Yes.
Certainly, a lot of that's going to get mixed up in the time away.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to get mixed up.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, that's the beauty of travel. That is the beauty of spending time with family and adventures and just kind of throwing the confetti in the air and see where it all lands.
I love that.
Well, and you can do that in a way that still allows for the structure and routine that you're used to with your family,
Yeah.
but also leans into the beauty that is seeing loved ones, giving, you know, room and space to a routine that just isn't your own.
Yeah.
And when you do,
Yeah.
it's all just a lot of fun. But again, you can do that in a way that still respects the boundaries and things that you value as your, you know, your unique family unit.
You said that you said it really well. You said there's some non-negotiables like washing hands,
Sure,
or kissing on the top of the head, those sort of things.
Yeah. So to me,
With a new baby, especially.
well, and I think, and it's not even to me. It's just as we know in terms of what research guides us toward and what science tells us, where it's just there are, you know, there are more germs floating around, or just you're more closer proximity in the winter, and so the likelihood that something could come home from the grocery store or from a party that you go to is a lot higher. And so washing your hands before you touch a baby is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Or just washing your hands when you come in from being out and about. That just keeps everybody healthy, and not even just the baby who's, you know, still developing their immune system and all of the things, but also everybody. So everybody stays, you know, happy and healthy. And so other non-negotiables, yes, it just, you know, kissing a baby on their face just puts them at a higher risk for getting some kind of illness. And so just keeping things clean. Those are
right on cue.
some of the non-negotiables, so that it allows space for staying up past a bedtime, or, you know, going off of 2 naps versus 3 naps for the day, or, you know, whatever that may be, right? So like you're going to put them in the car seat and you're going to have them sort of strapped in safely, but you may go about and take every nap on the road versus at home in your bassinet.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about on the road, whether you're flying or driving somewhere, there are travel issues to think about. One of the things I think is most important and most surprising, you talked about if you're flying with children,
Sure.
you don't necessarily want to be the first one on the plane.
So yes, this is, if I could give maybe one piece of advice to any family that ever travels with a baby, they have preferred family boarding. So it happens very early on, and they do that to allow for more time to get down the runway, to get into your seats. In theory, it's a wonderful option to allow for families. And if that works for you and your family, board the plane then. But what it also does is it puts you on the airplane upwards of 30 minutes prior to even leaving the gate. That puts you, especially if you've got toddlers, in a small area, keeping them entertained, keeping them, you know, occupied. Whereas if you stay by the boarding gate, you've got room to move around. You can be the last person. So when right before they close those boarding doors, that's when you can get on board. Especially if you're not worried about like your overhead storage, or you know, if you're flying Southwest, maybe that's not your best strategy because you'll be who knows where on the plane. But for other families, that works really nicely, because then you're the last one on the plane, you get situated, you're up and in the air, and it just cuts your time down by a significant amount.
And it's important to think about feeding schedules and timing. Also.
So if you're going on a road trip, one of my biggest suggestions is plan ahead, know when you're going to leave. The second your baby wakes up, nurse them, bottle feed them, whatever you're going to do, and then hop in the car. You have a full wake window as well as a nap of driving time before you're gonna have to stop again to feed the baby. So it just maximizes your time so that then you can stop, feed the baby, and then do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then as it relates to flying, ideally you are feeding your baby when you're in takeoff or then when you're landing, and that helps the baby's ears pressurize as the plane goes up in elevation.
Makes a lot of sense.
And so you have to be mindful that while the plane's taxiing and you may end up waiting in a big line, you don't want to necessarily start feeding the baby the second you pull away from the gate, but instead, when the pilot says, flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff, that is your sort of green light, go ahead, that like you're gonna have wheels up here soon to go ahead, start nursing the baby or offer that bottle so that they can have that sucking and swallowing going on as you're going up in elevation.
Such good advice, such good advice. And the last thing I want to try to touch on is, you know, when I had babies 30 years ago, there was no social media. We just kind of did what the doctor said and the recommendations and all in terms of vaccines. But I know, especially for my daughter, and she just talks about how there's so much controversy and different information. And I think so much of that is on your social media feeds. How do you discern, you know, what, because you say it's nuts when you look at all the conversation about vaccines.
You know, recognizing that there is standardized research that guides our clinical practice, that can give us answers of how things worked for a large group of babies, not an isolated instance. And your physician, you know, your pediatrician, your care team will be familiar with these research articles, with what the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends. And so just asking questions, you know, Google Scholar is a great place to start, as simple as that sounds. You can go, you know, put things in there. There's other AI apps that can help you look at published research that has been gone through to make sure that you're getting credible, valuable, accurate information to then make informed decisions for you and your family.
I love it. Shannon, you are just full of such good information and good tips.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Hap, thank you. You can contact Shannon at 719-678-1133 or email shannon@peacefulinfant.com. Check out her website at peacefulinfant.com or join her Facebook page at Peaceful Infant. It's a holiday tradition, the Nutcracker.